Baylor Director of Athletics, Mack Rhoades, with us. Craig Smoak, David Smoak. Paul is out. He's in Hawaii, going to get married tomorrow, and then a honeymoon. He'll be back. I don't know if you will come back if you get to visit and stay in Hawaii for a couple of different weeks. Mack Rhoades joins us on 365 Sports. So I did not ask you this last week, and it's about your staff. You've added senior pieces or senior administrators. You've continued to kind of add. I think there was a while there where you weren't quite, not that you weren't up to par, but there were some openings. Do you feel pretty good about where you are now with your staff?
Yeah, I do now. And, we were intentional to take some time and really breathe and, certainly meet with our head coaches and sport program administrators and others, just trying to get a best feel for, where are we missing or where can we be better? How can we take things to a next level? The executive team, and, I truly believe this, the current executive team, I'm blessed with, the best in the country, but everybody's plate is overflowing. And so, obviously landed in a good place, and adding, Callie, who's been here before. For those that know her, she's a force of nature, and has got such a great skill set in terms of, working with people, collaboration, pushing people. I really, really enjoyed working with her when she was here previously. When I arrived, she was in that, human resource and assistant to the AD role, and we promoted her to chief of staff. But she's going to be a great addition, both in terms of the athletics department, but also across campus. She's highly regarded. And then Juliana from Colgate, she's one of those just rising stars in our industry. If you have a conversation about future leaders in our industry and who to keep an eye on, she is always, just consistently mentioned. And what I appreciated most about Juliana is that she really feels called to be at Baylor, and really reached out about 2 years ago, introducing herself and talking about this calling and really wanting to work for Baylor. And it finally worked out, and she's going to oversee our spiritual growth pillar. And I think we've made really good progress there, but I think we can be much more, much better, go much deeper when we think about how we serve our student athletes, but also our staff and how we challenge everyone to grow. And certainly her expertise in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space, and that's an area that we've had this conversation in the past on this show, but we're wanting to continue to grow and evolve. So just feel really, really blessed that both are joining our team.
Mack, I was reading an article, I think it was in light of Jack Swarbrick announcing his retirement. It was kind of pointing to kind of an end of an era of, certain athletic directors and whatnot. And we've heard you speak to just the craziness surrounding the profession these days. I'd imagine there's probably lots of conversations between athletic directors about just where are we going, where are we headed, what's this going to be like. But have you seen that effect trickle down in terms of interest, in terms of up-and-coming people like you just mentioned wanting to be athletic directors? Have you seen any sort of an impact based on just all the craziness affecting the profession, so to speak?
Yeah, no, Craig, I think that's a great question, really insightful question. I wouldn't go, print this on the front page of the newspaper, because I'm not sure, that I've got great data to back it up, but it seems and feels like that people are more measured about whether or not they want to sit in this chair because of all of the things that are going on right now as we speak in the industry. And so I think that's been, at least for me, at least that's my opinion, interesting to see. Now, there are certainly those that, hey, it's been my dream to be an athletic director, and I still want to do that. But I think more than ever before, I think people are really thinking a lot about one, do we want to be in this profession, just given the chaos and it's a grind and all of the hours, and I think you're seeing, I think coming out of COVID with all of the NCAA transformation, name, image, and likeness, transfer portal, I think you're seeing people really thinking twice about whether or not this profession is right for them, and then do I want to sit in the athletics chair? And so just been interesting to kind of follow and see. And I would say as an athletic director right now, you better be an adaptive leader, and because you can't stay stagnant as a leader in this industry right now. You better push yourself. You better make sure that you're moving and you're growing, and you can be adaptive, and you can do all of those things without compromising your core values.
Mack,
so a lot going on.
Yeah, no, there is. Have you ever, has the conference itself, whenever you meet whoever's meeting about the future, has there ever been discussion about a deadline for anyone who wants to join the Big 12? You're entering now this summertime, and has that even been discussed that, okay, we have to focus in, or is that just going to be an open-ending book?
Yeah, I think, I appreciate the question. And, there's, at least I'm not aware of, that there's ever been a conversation or a deadline set for anyone when we think about conference membership. The reality is that at some point in time, the Pac-12, just given when their current TV deal ends, the Pac-12 is gonna have to cross that threshold in terms of what their deal is. And again, sound like a broken record, but nobody's sitting here and wishing for the demise of the Pac-12. Reality is, though, when that day comes, and it has to come, right? And there's all kinds of speculation on when it's coming, right? If you read things, it's coming by end of June, or more than likely, sometime this summer, end of summer, whenever that time is. And I do believe it's within this 60-day window. We're going to know, and we'll all know. And so, nobody has put a self-implied, deadline on any of this. And I think it behooves certainly the Big 12 to be patient and be ready if there is opportunity.
The conference itself is it's going to add 4 new teams officially July the 1st. We've had a couple of writers, analysts who have covered UCF and Houston today. We'll have the ADs of those 4 schools, which we've had on before, the last week in June. Do you feel like any of the talk about possible additions takes away anything at all? Have you heard that taking away anything at all from Cincinnati, Houston, UCF, or Brigham Young?
Yeah, I appreciate the question because it's something that, I think about. I think it's something that the conference has thought about. And I think, the answer is I hope not, because, we need to be celebrating those four institutions. And, when you think back, 18 months or 2 years ago, and we added those four, and, those clearly were the right four to add. And the eight of us plus those four have provided great, stability for this conference. And it's a conference that, both ESPN and Fox really believed in. They didn't have to negotiate a new TV media deal with us, knowing that Oklahoma and Texas were leaving, and knowing we couldn't go out to the open market and have any competition. And both of those TV partners thought enough of the 12 of us, those four included, that we've got a future, we've got promise. And so, certainly grateful to ESPN, grateful to Fox, and grateful to Commissioner Yormark leading us through that negotiation along with Endeavor. But they need to be celebrated, and we need to make sure that we're really, really intentional about that storyline and making them feel welcome. And I've said it on the show before. If we don't add any other institution and it remains the 12 for the unforeseeable future, I really, really believe we're in a great place. So I'm excited, for July 1 and those four to officially come on board. I'm glad that you've had an opportunity to speak to all four of those athletic directors. All four of them are friends, great individuals, and do a great job leading their respective programs.
Do you sense with the 12 teams, with Texas OU for one more year, but do you sense that that all 12 kind of are all on the same page as far as the unity, the future, and that there are no so-called like voting blocks, if that's the right term or phrase to use?
Yeah, there is a healthy respect, a really healthy respect amongst the 12. I don't think anybody's sitting in a chair thinking that they're better than any of the other 11. I think there is a willingness to certainly think and contemplate, what's best for the 12 rather than what's best just for the one. And that's really hard to do, right? All of us, meaning athletic directors, we get paid. Our responsibility is to, look out for what is the best interest of your particular institution. But part of what's looking out for your best interest is also making sure that you're part of a conference that is thriving, that is continuing to grow and succeed, not just today, but into the future. And so I think there's great collaboration and unity right now, and I expect that to carry on for years to come.
Mack Rhoades, Baylor Director of Athletics, with us on 365 Sports. The total number of dollars you get from the TV and media rights deal, from whatever networks, and then even the Tier 3, or whatever it is now with ESPN, what you call it, how much of that revenue that you get whether it's the 31.7 or the 50, whatever the combination of other revenue, how much of that is a percentage of your athletic department budget?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, and I think I've said it before, but it's certainly our largest source of revenue. And so that's why, everybody is fixated on, the TV contracts and what do they mean? And then again, when you think about the total revenue distribution, it's certainly not just the TV, it's the largest portion of it, but it's also the CFP, it's also the men's basketball NCAA tournament, it's other bowl games and some ancillary revenues. But, I'd have to sit and really think about it, but I would tell you that it's, somewhere probably, right around 40%. When we think about our total operating budget. It's somewhere, probably between 35 and 40, 42%, somewhere in there.
Mack, I'm not sure how all the political side of things work, but there was House Bill 2804 that was passed in the Senate. Greg Abbott signed that this past Saturday, and it will become law here in a couple of weeks. Big picture, what does that mean for schools in the state of Texas? And even more big picture in particular for you, what does that mean exactly for Baylor Athletics, if anything?
Yeah, that's a great question, Craig, and here's why. It's fascinating because Texas, I believe, is the third state to implement this type of amendment to its existing name, image, and likeness state law. Arkansas was the first. I think Missouri, then Texas. And then there may be one or more other states, and so it's a real contradiction. And I would just say that all the schools in the state of Texas need to tread lightly because the amendment certainly makes. And this is a very simplistic explanation. But it provides a pathway, or it allows for quote unquote other entities to collect and distribute name, image, and likeness monies to student athletes, and so. I.e., what's been talked about. This isn't news, right? I.e., the 12th Man Foundation. It also goes on to say that Texas state law presides over NCAA and conference bylaws, regulations, and so. Other entities that are affiliated with institutions per the NCAA, that is not allowed. And so now we have this state law that is in conflict with the NCAA, and I would just say that, all of us are going to need to grapple with that. And it is my opinion that the NCAA is not going to waver, that they are going to hold institutions with these similar type amendments, state laws regarding name, image, and likeness, that they are going to hold them accountable to the NCAA bylaws, regardless of what the state law allows an institution to do. So for Baylor, and I'm not going to speak on behalf of any other institution in the state of Texas. We're gonna follow the NCAA laws. I don't want to get into a situation where all of a sudden, one of our sports programs is going to postseason, and now we're not allowed. And I'm not saying that's an absolute, but I could see that as a possibility. So we obviously have had a lot of conversation on this campus.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Livingstone, myself, our general counsel Chris Holmes, others, and we're going to be very thoughtful, and we're not going to compromise our institution.
Mack, last thing. What's more difficult right now, being an athletic director in college athletics or being a commissioner?
I hate to answer that just because it's going to sound.
Do you want to be a commissioner one day?
Commissioners have a lot of things to deal with and handle in their different jobs. I'm not going to say that their commissioner roles jobs are easier. Not sure that they are, but I will just say that as an athletic director right now, if you're an FBS athletic director, you have your hands full.
Yep.
You do.
Thank you, Mack. Appreciate it. When you take vacation, will you let us know so we'll be ready for the breaking news alert?
I will. So be sure to do that. Appreciate you all, and God bless Paul and his fiance, and I hope the wedding goes well tomorrow.
It will. Thank you, Mack. Mack Rhoades, Baylor Director of Athletics, with us on 365 Sports. If you don't know,